Eagles Entertainment.
Welcome, Eagles everywhere, to the Eagles Insider Podcast, presented by Lincoln Financial Group. I'm Eagles Insider Dave Spadero. Hope everybody's doing well. Happy holidays to all. And we've got a fun one for you today and this week. I mean, it's a 4-9-1 football team here, but the Eagles are playing for the playoffs. We're talking playoffs. Yes, we are. Eagles, of course, need to win on Sunday at the Dallas Cowboys, and then they must get some help from the Carolina Panthers. If they can beat the Washington football team, that would give the Eagles an opportunity on the following week, the final weekend of the regular season, to beat Washington, reach the playoffs. Of course, we are also taking into account the New York Giants, who would have to lose to either the Ravens or the Cowboys in their last two games. All of that is just fodder. What matters is the Eagles taking care of their own business, and that means beating a Dallas Cowboys team that has won its last two games and is playing pretty good football. We'll hear from Mickey Spagnola from DallasCowboys.com, longtime reporter covering that football team, and find out just how much better the Cowboys are now with Andy Dalton at quarterback than they were a couple of months ago with Ben DiNucci in prime time at Lincoln Financial Field. Good stuff there. We're also going to hear from Eagles wide receiver Jalen Reagor. The number one draft pick for this football team has had an up-and-down rookie season. Really has shown flashes of why the Eagles selected him number one in this draft. Explosive player, put the football in his hands, and good things happen. But he's also missed some time with injuries, so we'll talk about what Reagor has learned in his rookie season. I want to do a shout-out also to the Eagles' three Pro Bowlers: center Jason Kelce, defensive tackle Fletcher Cox, and defensive end Brandon Graham. We're going to celebrate them on Friday in our Tailgate Edition. And by the way, that Tailgate Edition is one you won't want to miss. Ray Didinger and I talk about the history of the Eagles-Cowboys rivalry. It just never gets old. It's Cowboys week, and yes, Dallas sucks. So let's start it all off with our weekly one-on-one with head coach Doug Pederson. We welcome you to our weekly one-on-one with head coach Doug Pederson, presented by Wawa. I'm Eagles Insider Dave Spadero. Doug, Merry Christmas week to you. I know it's a busy one for you. Hope everybody's doing well at the Pederson household.
Everybody's doing great, Dave. Merry Christmas to you too, and all our Eagles fans out there. And this is an exciting week. One, because it's obviously Christmas week, but again, we get another opportunity to play a great game.
Right, against the Dallas Cowboys, the arch rival for every Eagles fan out there. Doug, last week after Jalen's first start, you listed a couple of things that you had some constructive criticism about. His timing on his drops and the routes, the progression with his eyes and the speed in his reads and progressions, and then coming out of the huddle faster and getting to the line of scrimmage faster. Did you see improvement in those three areas?
I saw improvement, but we can even improve even more. I think that was part of our issues early in the game. Our sense of urgency as an offense as a whole, something we talked about all last week, and it just didn't. It didn't kind of sort of transpire early in the football game, not until about the second quarter when we kind of cut our traction just a little bit. He did better with his drops. He can continue to work and get better there. I thought his decision, timing, accuracy was really good, especially from the pocket. There were a couple of receiver screens and some movement throws that, accuracy could be a little bit better. But I thought overall, listen, I'm nitpicking just a little bit, but these are the details that Jalen wants expressed, right? How can I get better as a quarterback? And so these are the things that we can help him improve and ultimately be a better quarterback.
Speaking of getting better for Jalen Hurts, I wonder from the time he was in college and as a thrower to now, all the mechanics that you've worked on, is there a dramatic difference in his mechanics, in his throwing motion, in his quickness release, any of the things that you and the coaching staff have worked with him on through these many months?
Not really. One of the things that you try not to do is mess with their throwing motions or too much of their feet. You can improve accuracy with eyes and decision making and timing and things of that nature, and you got to keep working the timing of your drop with the timing of the concept of the pass play, right? And that's where we can continue to improve with Jalen, with Carson, with Nate. That's a big part of the passing game, is just that timing and accuracy. And just keep working his feet, getting his feet in the right place. But we don't really make a lot of wholesale changes with their mechanics. We just want to tweak some things and make sure that they're, getting the ball out on time.
If you would, in layman's terms, explain what that means. You're talking a three-step drop. There's a certain movement that you have, precision that you have in your footwork versus a 5-step drop versus a 7-step drop. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, exactly right. So our quick game timing is always 3 steps. So we always take everything as if we're under the center. So when we say quick game, that's always your 3-step, timing progression. So it's usually 3 plant throw or 3 hitch and a throw. And then if you're doing that from the shotgun, it's really just catch the ball, a little bit of a bounce or hesitation, and you make that delivery. You don't have to take a drop because you're already, back there. And that's the same with the 5-step and the 7-step, and that all gets married up with the concept of the play or the design of the play. And so that's where we can continue to help Jalen and grow Jalen as a quarterback to make sure that those drops time up with the concepts that we're trying to execute on any given play.
I wondered going into the Cardinals game what it would be like as Arizona tried to maybe take away the perimeter from Jalen, and then you and the coaching staff tried to counter that. What was that chess match like for you on Sunday?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to be able to do that and kind of decipher how they were going to attack us. And they came out with a lot of 5-man pressure and really kind of keep Jalen in the pocket the best they could, and which they played a little more man coverage, and they play man coverage anyway. But which was kind of a surprise because the week before New Orleans played man coverage and Jalen was able to escape the pocket and have some big runs. And this week they played man coverage, but they also rushed 5 guys. So they were doing both and trying to keep Jalen in the pocket. He still had some success outside the pocket running and extending plays. And then, the same way in the run game, just, marrying up the different run concepts against, what they presented us. And, we started, again, in that second quarter, that's when we started gaining some momentum, with both the run game and the pass game, and then again trying to keep them off balance with some of the play action and movement stuff, and then our receiver screens really became important for us, and we had a huge one there with Quez Watkins, and Jalen late in the game with our receiver screens.
What did you take away otherwise beyond number 2 from the offensive side of the ball against the Cardinals?
Well, we did have some success running the ball. We could have been a little bit better there running the football, but I thought overall we did some good things. I thought the O-line, for the most part, really held up nicely and gave Jalen some time to throw. I thought the young receivers, you talk about Quez and Jalen Reagor, Alshon had a great matchup with one of the best cornerbacks in our league in Patrick Pederson all night, and it was fun to watch him go to work there. So I thought those guys, Alshon, really stepped up, and something that Greg Ward played extremely tough and physical, and then Travis had some plays down the stretch. So something we've challenged, and I've challenged our receivers the last couple of weeks to really show up in these games, show up for the quarterback. As we say, be where your feet are, work the top of your route, work the timing with the quarterback, and that was real impressive to see. And then again, how those young guys are beginning to sort of emerge.
Doug, all of a sudden, this team on both sides of the ball, you're starting a lot of young players. The roster has been stretched beyond its limit. So in the big picture here, what are you learning about young players and where this roster's going and what you have now and maybe what you might have for the future?
For the most of these young guys, the game's not that big for them. A lot of them have come from big programs themselves. They played in some big games, and so the game is not as big. I would say the one thing that they're learning, though, is how fast the speed of the game is different from practice, and it's hard to simulate that, as during the week. So they're having to, learn the speed of the game kind of on the fly, and then it's hard to simulate a DeAndre Hopkins in practice, right? I mean, it's hard to a DK Metcalf. It's hard to simulate these guys in practice, and then when they get in the game, they realize just how good and powerful and strong these players can be, and so they're learning that. And so it's sort of it's a crash course, on just kind of football 101. But they're showing great improvement. They obviously great enthusiasm. They bring that youth movement that sort of interjects in your football team, and and kind of gives you a little bit of a lift. But overall, they've been doing a nice job, and we continue to work with them and give them every opportunity to be successful.
It's the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday. You played them a couple of months ago. What has changed with their defense?
Well, they obviously, got after San Francisco this past weekend and did some really good things there. I know San Francisco is also a team that has been decimated with injury this season, and Dallas as well. But they're showing improvement too. This defense is tough, especially at home. They have a few more people in their building than most teams, so the crowd it can be a factor a little bit. But it's the Dallas Cowboys, and it's always a great matchup when we go down there and play them, and we're excited for the opportunity.
You are doing such a great job segueing for me, because now I want to talk about the Jalens going back to Dallas, their hometowns. Mills has done it before, but Hurts and Reagor have not. Is there a challenge going back and seeing your family and maybe playing in front of them for the first time? Well,
it's going to be exciting for them to be able to do that, obviously this week being Christmas and being around family and then of course playing down there, and it's going to be exciting for them. But I think they both are going to want to do well, but at the same time I'm going to make sure that they stay grounded and stay humble and continue to execute the game plan and just go play, and we'll see what happens.
What's the next challenge for Jalen Hurts, Doug? As a quarterback, what is the next step in his progression?
Well, I think the biggest thing is just how does he bounce back after this loss, right? And this was a tough, physical, emotional game. And we understand too that every game is kind of a playoff atmosphere for us, and we got to treat each week that way. And how he responds this week will be important. But I don't have any concerns. I know the type of person he is, the type of player he is, and he's going to continue to improve and get better. And not only himself, but he's going to be able to do that with the offense. He's going to be able to challenge the offense that way and really bring the guys along.
Doug, last one. What have you learned, and what has this team learned? Very difficult situation, changing quarterbacks. It hasn't ripped the team apart. There's been so many stories out there. It could have been nasty. It hasn't been. Why?
I just credit the players. I credit the leaders on the team, for keeping everything together. Our common goal, is obviously to win each week, and no matter, I know some teams that go through quarterback changes, like it could split your team, right? It could be 50-50 for either quarterback, but our guys have really rallied around both quarterbacks. We still have an opportunity in front of us that who would have thought that we'd still be here with a chance to win, the NFC East, but there's a lot to play for, and so the guys have really rallied around each other, and they're committed to the team, and that's good to see.
Doug Pederson, our weekly one-on-one presented by Wawa. Thanks so much for your time, Doug. Happy holidays. Beat the Cowboys and have a great week.
All right. Thank you, Dave.
Thanks very much to Doug there. Now, let's turn it over to the draft and the young players. And the Eagles are playing a lot of young players on this team right now down the stretch. So many injuries and a chance to really find out what you have for the rest of the regular season here, potentially the playoffs, and then moving into 2021. One thing the Eagles believe they certainly have is an explosive Jalen Reagor. As a punt returner, absolutely, we saw it in Green Bay with this return for a touchdown.
Reagor looks up, backs up, takes it at the 26, muffs it, picks it up, starts to run. He's at the 30, 35, 40, 45, midfield 40. He is at the 30, cuts back at the 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown! Jalen Reagor! He broke it! He broke it!
And we've also seen it from time to time in big plays and looking good as a wide receiver.
He is going deep downfield for Jalen Reagor, who makes it down at the 21-yard line. What a way for the rookie to make his first NFL catch.
Anyway, it's been a learning experience for Reagor, as we discuss in our exclusive one-on-one.
Jalen, describe what a rookie season is like in the NFL. The ups and downs, the length of the season. I mean, is this everything you expected it would be? Is it as fun as you thought it would be? Like, for people who have no idea, what's it like?
I'll just say, it's a learning experience too, because you learn a lot about yourself. You learn a lot about, the league and, the different levels. And, on the course of a long season, it's a lot of ups and downs, but I feel like it prepares you, to have a long career.
Is it different kind of learning than I imagine college football was? The grind of college football combined with going to school. How would you compare that to the grind of being in the NFL, where every day you have to be good?
I would compare it because playing football and going to school, that's a different type of grind. But here it's like your school is the time you spend watching film and learning the plays and, focusing in, honing in on your craft. So I wouldn't too much compare it, but, they're both a grind. And, it's, like I said, it's a lot of learning you do throughout a whole season because it's a lot of things you go through in the course of a long season.
Jalen, you said you learn a lot about yourself. What are some of the things that you've learned about yourself? I learned a lot about my body and, how to take care of my body and how to have a routine, just watching the older guys, the vets around the building, just watching and learning. And then just seeing, other guys on the team with similar skill sets, like, okay, how did guys like, D-Jack and Fletch and all those guys stay around so long, and I watch how they take care of their body and, just try to add it to my bag. So you think like nutrition and training, that's some of the biggest areas that young players learn how to do, take care of their bodies, learn the right things to eat. Like, has your diet improved considerably since you got to the NFL?
My diet hasn't been bad, like, ever. So I wouldn't say it just improved, but it has gotten better. Like, just like I said, just learning different things, like about like just being in the weight room. You learn, okay, how to do certain lifts and what's the purpose of the lift, and then like recovery shakes, taking vitamins and you just learn so much so you can do better.
Jalen, are you pleased with the way you've come along as a football player for the first 14 games? Do you feel like you've made the kind of progress you hope to make?
No, and I would say that just because, for one, I missed 5 games, and then I don't feel like I feel like I played well. I haven't dropped the ball. I just feel like I can do more. So I feel like I have a whole lot more that I can tap into.
What is on the field? What is the biggest difference between college and the NFL?
Usually, when you're playing in college, you're usually playing against a dude that's maybe a couple years older. But in the NFL, you're playing with guys that's been here 10 years, 8 years, and it's like they've seen everything. So you just have to have a fine-tuned plan of what you're gonna do.
Have cornerbacks tried to trash talk you a lot? Have veteran guys tried to take you off your game with, boasting and doing a lot of stuff to kind of get you off the game with the words and actions? Not
at all. I mean, when I went against Jalen Ramsey, he told me, he's like, have a good game. We're going to compete. Same thing with Patrick Pederson. After the first snap, he was like, have a good day, 18. Like, keep working. He was like, and I just told him to keep making me better throughout the whole game. And, and to be honest, I mean, I don't really hone in on all the trash talk. You could probably say something, I probably either look at you or just laugh.
Do you miss having fans in the stands, Jalen?
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's the second thrill of everything. Just going out and you hearing, especially, coming to Philly and not being able to experience, what they say the crowd is like and what I've seen. I mean, yeah, I do. I wish we did have fans.
Now, has your family been able to see you in the few games that fans were allowed in games throughout, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, etc.? And then will you have family in the stands this weekend?
My family has been to see me, and yeah, I will. I will have a ton of family in the stands this weekend.
What is that going to be like for you?
The same like it's been my whole football career besides this year. My family's been everywhere, so it's nothing new.
Jalen, what about off the field? Like, what are you, in this pandemic world, when you leave NovaCare, can you kind of tell, like, for the fans who have no idea, you're obviously not going out to dinner and you're not hanging with people. So what do you do back? Do you have an apartment near the complex? You just kind of just get back into your playbook and play video games and watch TV?
Well, me, I'm a real cool guy. I like to watch movies. I don't really play too many games. I play Madden every now and then, but, I go back and just chill out. Like, I'm a real cool dude. I'm low key. I don't really do too much. And, like you said, just getting in my playbook, just making sure I know. And I watch a lot of highlights. I watch a lot of, great cornerbacks, great receivers. Like, I watch everybody just because I love football that much. And that's pretty much what I love to do.
Jalen, you're getting toward the end of the first regular season of your career. Do you understand now when people say, hey, the first time you go through it, it goes by really fast? Has this season felt like it's a blur to you?
I mean, that's what just playing football my whole life. That's how it usually goes. Like, from being a freshman in high school, then I was a senior, then being a freshman in college, and now I'm declaring for the NFL draft. Like, I think that's pretty much at every level. And I mean, it has flown by, and then not to mention I missed 5 games, so it ain't like I played the whole season, but it kind of flew by.
Is your experience that the second time around you take a big jump because you already know what to expect? Maybe what you did in college and in high school?
Absolutely. I think I'll make a huge jump, just off season and getting to prepare. Hopefully this COVID stuff passes over and then I get to go through OTAs and, get to go through the whole thing. And I feel like it's a lot left, a whole lot left that I'm capable of.
Jalen, last question. How exciting is it to, as you stand right now, kind of going through this with Jalen Hurts and having 2 rookies experience the first time going through the NFL experience together? Have you guys, and really not only that, but with Quez and with John as well, that kind of that bond that rookies have, has that been special for you?
Yeah, we've been like that since we got here. And just, because usually they keep the rookies together and, you have rookie meetings and rookie lift and rookie practice before practice. So, we've been like that, and it's only going to get stronger. The more we play together, the more we, get that chemistry. And, we'll gel very well.
Jalen Reagor, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it. Good luck against the Cowboys. Bring home a victory.
Thank you for having me.
Tired of searching for sports updates in different places? The Xfinity Sports Zone gives you the ultimate sports hub experience, where you can find games, news, and highlights all in one place right on your TV. Follow the teams you love across your favorite sports. You can even use the voice remote to access stats and scores. With the Xfinity Sports Zone, everybody wins. Now that's simple, easy, awesome. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store for details. Restrictions apply. Requires Xfinity TV service with X1.
And now let's talk about the Cowboys, a team that kind of was left for dead. 3 wins a few weeks ago. Nobody talking about the Cowboys. A lot of injuries, of course. Offensive line, quarterback Dak Prescott. Defense just terrible all year against the run. And then the Cowboys went out and beat the Bengals. And then last Sunday they beat the 49ers. And all of a sudden, they too think they can win the NFC East. So this game on Sunday at AT&T Stadium, yeah, it means something. And I bring in my guest, Mickey Spagnola, DallasCowboys.com. We've been buddies for a long, long time. So it's interesting that this game means something. We expected that. It's just unexpected that the NFC East has been in such disarray in 2020.
Mickey, things have changed quite a bit for the Cowboys these last couple of weeks. Now you're thinking of the NFC East title. What has changed in wins over Cincinnati and San Francisco?
Well, part of me wants to say playing Cincinnati and San Francisco. But the other thing that has occurred to turn around dramatically is after they struggled all season turning the ball over and not getting any turnovers, they got 3 takeaways against Cincinnati and 4 takeaways against San Francisco without turning the ball over one time themselves. So they ended up a plus 7 in those 2 games. And I think the turnovers, good on the defense, but really helped out an offense that had been struggling to move the football behind a beat-up offensive line. So a couple short fields, and the Cowboys capitalized, especially against San Francisco, turning those 4 takeaways into 24 points. And the 3 takeaways in Cincinnati against Cincinnati turned into 17 points. So that's 41 points scored off takeaways in 2 games. So to me, that had a lot to do with being able to win back-to-back games for the first time since the middle of last year.
Mickey, it just sounds like stability. And in a season of instability for Dallas at the quarterback position, on the offensive line, on defense. That must be very welcome for the coaching staff that's been under fire all year.
Yeah, especially the offensive line. You know, they've started the same 5 guys now. I think going into the Philadelphia game, it'll be the same 5 for 3 weeks in a row, and that hadn't happened over the first 11 games of the season. It's been hopscotching, guys changing positions, going on injured reserve, coming off, losing, your Pro Bowl left tackle, losing your Pro Bowl right guard. That offensive line. And the other thing, Dave, it's one thing to lose those guys, but it's another thing to have to, back them up, play guys without hardly any experience whatsoever at left tackle, at right tackle. It's an undrafted rookie playing right tackle. You got a second-year guy now who didn't play all last year starting at right guard. And it's just been a mismatched deal. So maybe a little bit that they've got the same guys, and as you said, a little continuity, and a little bit more time under center with Andy Dalton certainly has helped out with some of the his continuity with the wide receivers. They still struggle to run the football, but as we know in this league, a win is a win, right?
Oh, and this year we take him as we can get him. Let's talk a little bit about the defense. Leighton Vander Esch leaves the locker room with a walking boot on, so we don't know about his status. How has the rest of that defense changed in the last month since the Eagles saw them here at Lincoln Financial Field?
Yeah, I think they've ended up playing more young guys. Neville Gallimore, their third-round draft choice, has really stepped up with more snaps that he's received. Same thing with Antoine Woods. Now, the bad thing is both those guys left the game on Sunday with sprained ankles, and we'll know a little bit more about them, as the week progresses. You mentioned Leighton Vander Esch, and it seems, Mike McCarthy kind of mentioned it yesterday in his conference call. It may be a push to get him into the game. But what happened in this last game is I think for the first time, they had all 4 of their top 4 cornerbacks available to play. And that's been another kind of revolving door all season long between Chidobe Awuzie, Anthony Brown, Trayvon Diggs, and Jordan Lewis. So they had them all on the field at the same time. I think the other change, and I can't remember if he had started, he was probably starting there, but he was very young, Donovan Wilson in his second year starting at safety. He's really given this defense some energy. And again, with Aldon Smith and Randy Gregory, these guys hadn't played much all, before this season. And they've kind of picked up the pace too. So as I say that, though, they continue to give up, 150 or more yards rushing game. And, to me, that's problematic going into the Eagles game, knowing that Hurts likes to run the football. So that'll be, I think, a significant key to this game on how well they're able to defend the run against the Eagles.
Mickey, on offense, they've gotten a lot, it seems, the Cowboys from C.D. Lamb. Just talk about his progress. How good is he? How good will he be? Is he right now the go-to receiver in that offense?
I don't know that he's the go-to receiver, but, boy, he has been phenomenal for a rookie. I mean, he's already set the Cowboys' rookie record for most receptions in a single season, and by a lot, by the way. Off the top of my head, he's got 50-some, and the record had been 46. And the catches he makes, Dave, some of them are just spectacular, how he can contort his body, the speed he has, and the ability to run with the ball after the catch has been remarkable. So, he's awfully good. And as I like to remind these Cowboy fans that think it's a better thing to lose and get a better draft choice, a higher draft choice, you never know who you might find with the 17th pick in the draft.
Yeah, that's for sure. Hey, Mickey, the last time we played you guys, it was Ben DiNucci at quarterback, and you touched on Andy Dalton a bit. I remember the first couple of starts for Dalton before he got knocked out. It was just a jailbreak. Do you see him getting the ball out faster? Certainly continuity on the offensive line has helped. But what kind of quarterback can the Eagles expect to face on Sunday?
Yeah, he has been getting it out faster. The protection has been a little bit better, not good enough, and they still struggle with that. So if people watch the Cowboy games, they have to come up with different ways to get the ball on the perimeter. They've been pretty creative, so that's helped out. And I think he's just kind of settled down in what he's doing out there, and and getting used to throwing with the receivers. He came into the Giants game and led them to the 2 scores to be able to win that game, and he just didn't have much time under center. The Arizona game was, I think, was a disaster. They couldn't block, and then he gets knocked out in the Washington game, and then he misses another game on the COVID list, and then the Cowboys went 12 days between games for COVID, other teams' COVID problems. So, yeah, it was really hard for him just to get in any rhythm. But I think it's been better. But, again, the protection is still problematic.
So, Mickey, we go at it again, and it actually means something. No, people would not have thought that to be the case a few weeks ago, that the Eagles-Cowboys Week 16 would potentially mean playoffs. I love it.
Oh, it's great, and you said a couple of weeks ago, I'm guessing the league thought back when they made the schedule, oh, this is great. The Cowboys and Eagles in Game 15, and both teams having to play division games in the final game, and that might decide the division. Well, it's going to decide the division. It's just not going to decide it the way I think everybody thought back in April and May when the schedule came out. But yeah, and I think for all the struggles the NFC has had, there's been some pretty top wins here over the last couple of weeks to show, yeah, you can play. And maybe these teams aren't as bad as everybody thinks they are. And, now, depending, I guess, on what the Giants do on Sunday, everybody's playing with a backup quarterback. And that's incredible. And we know that, Dave, for all the time we've covered the NFL, this is a quarterback league. And it's hard to win with your backups. You hope your backup is in there for a game, maybe 2, but not a long stretch, because that's why they're the backup. Now I understand, your situation when taking a look at Hurts, but the other teams, everybody got hurt, and so it's been a crazy season for the division. But I think if you look at it going forward with maybe the young quarterbacks that are here, they may be on to something.
We ended with optimism. Mickey Spagnola, DallasCowboys.com. Happy holidays to you and yours. Thank you very much for your time, and let's look for a great game on Sunday.
Same to you, Dave. Good to be with you.
And that's our first look at the Dallas Cowboys. I want to thank you all for joining us here on the Eagles Insider Podcast. Thanks to Peter Kelly, Ray Doyle, and Trevor Hayes for their work putting it all together. Thanks to all of you for joining us each and every episode. If you have a chance to give us a little 5-star review, we would love it. You can check it out. The link is right there in the details section of your library. Remember, we're back on Friday. Ray Didinger and I are talking about the history at length of the Eagles and the Cowboys. A very fun conversation. Everyone, have yourselves a great Eagles day. Thanks for joining me. I'm Eagles Insider Dave Spadaro. And, of course, as we move into the Christmas holiday, for those who celebrate it, fly, Eagles, fly, and let's get a win here on Sunday against the Dallas Cowboys. Have a great Eagles day, everyone.
E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles!
Give the gift of Eagles Virtual Youth Clinics, now offering unique 2-day football and cheer programs live on December 29th and 30th. Register today at PhiladelphiaEagles.com/clinics.